Hi, readers. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Katie.
And welcome to Not Another Heroine Season 2, the podcast where we break down the best and worst fictional heroines of any genre. Because that's what we do now.
Want to see what's next on our TBR list? Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Instagram for a sneak peek at upcoming content or to help us pick our next book.
All right, we're ready to talk about the glory.
We are. I understand why that would mean what it means now.
Mm-hmm. Readers, we are talking about the song 3D.
Yeah. Speaking of like the K wave, it fits. And then what's the other 7? It has Latto in it.
I don't know that I've heard that.
He's talking about wanting to have sex with someone Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Oh,
7
that's
days
7
a week.
okay.
Yeah. It's so fucking catchy. Just listen to it.
Gosh.
I'm like in my car, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Oh, yeah.
We are going to take a much darker turn in the K-pop world.
That is true.
Yeah,
we're getting dark. So probably we should preface with trigger warnings right off the bat. Bullying, suicide, intense revenge, suicidal ideations. What do I do with my life once I've gotten revenge and that was my whole reason to be?
Extreme physical abuse from everyone. So parental figures, teachers, peers.
Yeah.
Some graphic sexual things.
Also true. And
so Game of Thrones, but modern day Soul and
really, yeah. Honestly, because like it's all of the same triggers.
Mm-hmm.
But all of that being said, it's sad and you're sad about it and it's hard to watch. But like there's the people who did wrong get what's coming to them in the most satisfying, like fucking like God destroy them.
And there is no implied redemption arc for the villains.
Nope.
They just get what's coming to them.
Mm-hmm. So it's one of those like trigger warnings, but it's like
you earn the happy ending in this is a dark happy ending, but you earn it and it is so good.
Yeah, it's like absolutely murder that person.
Yeah.
Which is that's aggressive.
So we're going to talk about the glory. We're going to give you a very, very quick synopsis of what actually happens. It's 16 episodes long. They're each about like an hour and 20.
Yeah, they're like a little bit longer than an hour, I feel like.
So brace yourself for a bit of an investment on this show. But it's done. It's one season.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, because I always get confused. It's like part 1 and part 2, not like first season, second season. But it's all culminated, which is nice. Like you get the end of the plot instead of like, oh, Netflix canceled the show. And like, you just have to hope that something good happened.
Which is why we like K-dramas, because you're really on the hook for like a very set amount of time. And then you have like start, beginning, middle, conclusion, and everything's done.
Yep. It's like a book.
Yeah. So on International Women's Day, there was a reel I was watching, and it was I forget who it was, but she was commenting on the popularity of like K-dramas with women are because the vast majority of K-dramas are written by women from the characters, like the female perspective. Oh. Which is why a lot of like readers, especially romantasy readers or anyone in anything like near that genre, tend to like K-dramas in general. Like it's the, I don't know, media format, gap. And it's because of that.
I did not even think about that because I've always kind of wondered why K-dramas like hit so hard when regular TV shows or like American TV shows don't always. And it's 100%. It's like written from the female gaze.
Yeah.
Like it's
almost without fail, almost every single one of them.
Wow. I did not even think about that. Mm-hmm. It's like TV for girls.
Yeah,
like,
it's relatable. Yeah. It has all the tropes that we like.
Yeah.
Because even if you think of popular like American TV shows that have central female characters, you're still like 60-40% of the screen time is going to be on the secondary dude.
Mm-hmm,
if you like,
what is the test? If two women talk to each other about something other than a man, it's like the Birkdale test or something. And like 90% of American shows don't pass. And it's like, What?
And so that kind of speaks to why both you and I really liked Bones, because I think that's
That is
slightly
true.
different because it is totally written from her perspective.
Mm-hmm.
There's still like a lot of secondary dude characters that get a lot of screen time, but like that's a standout show for me and for you.
Yeah. Because I mean, her best friend is a girl and they talk
Mhm.
about stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Wow.
See?
Oh my gosh. Jordan breaking down
No, not me.
norms.
I need to track down like who made that reel that I watched because fucking brilliant.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Because The Glory is like everything you'd want for a female-led story of a downtrodden girl who like gets her comeuppance. I don't think I'm using that right, but like if you get the energy behind it,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, it's a revenge plot.
Yeah.
And
it works out for her and it's like satisfying
and she gets help from other women.
yeah,
Like
100%. Oh, the secondary,
Ugh.
her like assistant lady, that is my favorite like story character. I love her. Anyway, sorry.
This is why we like this show.
Mhm.
So we will kind of break it down and then we have some discussion points to kind of go over. But just watch this. If you
honestly,
and especially if you are not into K-dramas yet, I feel like this is a good gateway drug.
absolutely. I think this is one of the first K-dramas I think I watched. And this kind of got me into the vibe. Like the ones I've watched since have not been this dark and like crazy, but
so fluffy.
yeah. But it has the same kind of like, you know, creation foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I watched Parasite and then like a year or two later I watched The Glory. And that was like the start.
Yeah, and now all the shows I watch have like a pink background.
That is true. Like fluffy clouds.
Yeah. There's cute like intro music. Like there's nothing dark happening here.
Not at all. We start out in the 2010s.
Ish.
High school. We have a young girl. Her name is Dawn Eun. Her last name's like Moon or something.
And just as a second preface, forgive us for our pronunciations of these Korean names. We are going to try. We will try our damnedest. We watched so many videos.
Yeah, literally. Like all kinds of like pronunciation, like plotline story.
Yeah, we'll try and get better.
Yeah.
So
yeah. But I think it's also kind of indicative that you don't really know how to say her name necessarily because like she's treated so like horribly that it makes sense that you can like Yeonjin, the main bad chick, like there, her name came out. It's easy. It's pronounceable because you hear it all the fucking time. But yeah, so Danan is horribly abused. She's poor. She's in this high school and she is being like ridiculously bullied by this group of like 4 people. 2 of them are extremely wealthy. 2 of them are kind of like hangers on, but like kind of wealthy. Or is there 5 of them actually now that I think about it?
So we have our evil bitch lead chick. She is like the queen bee of the clique and she is very wealthy.
Yeah.
We have her artist druggy friend.
Sarah,
who's also wealthy.
Yes. Oh yeah, so it's 3 friends.
And then the other female
who's not as wealthy.
She's the hanger on.
Yeah.
And then there's 2 dudes. So 5.
Oh, okay, yeah, so 5. So Danan is bullied by these 5 people and you first start out is like, oh, this isn't like that bad. It's just kind of like, you know, high school bullying. Like, I get it, 2010s. Except, nope, they immediately hold her down.
In the abandoned gymnasium.
It's not even abandoned because the hanger-on girl made out.
Oh, she was having sex with the coach in the closet.
To get the keys to the gym. Yeah, so obviously you can see that's her role within the, like, the group. Yeah, and they pin Danan down, and they're like, we need to test if this curling iron is hot enough.
Okay, so
it is excruciating.
It's hard to watch. You might have to turn away because the camera doesn't turn away from it. No. You watch them put a curling iron to this girl's bare arms and bare legs repeatedly.
Yeah. And it's wild because, like, have you, like, bumped your neck when you're doing your hair? It is the single most excruciating, like, female pain, probably besides giving birth, that, like, you can... visceral. Like, and it has like the sizzling noises in the
Oh,
background.
God,
like, ugh. I had to turn away. Like the
Mhm.
first time I think I like watched part of it, and the second time, because I've seen this multiple times
Yeah.
now, I 100% could not watch because they do it repeatedly.
Oh, yeah, her legs are covered, but what really got me, so this is terrible, but after the curling iron, it might be the first or second bullying scene we get, but the second dude in the group assaults her, like,
Yeah.
just forcibly kisses her, like, as she's being pinned down.
Yep.
And what's also really uncomfortable is, like, so she's a junior in high school, our heroine, but she looks like she's 12, 13.
Yeah.
She looks very, very young. And so when I originally watched this, I thought, this is a child and these are high school students bullying. I thought we were going into a rape scene. Thankfully, it doesn't go that far, but it's far enough. It's awful.
Yeah, because I think it's like stop crying or something, and then it's like that obviously is not going to work. You
No.
fucking psychopath. So that's where we start, and then it gets worse. Okay, so did you ever have to read those like assigned literary books in like middle school, early high school that were like absolutely the most depressing piece of literature put together, and you give it to like somewhat, depresso middle school, high schoolers? I'm specifically thinking of 1975 by James Orwell or whatever, and then the other one, The Jungle. So the thing about that book, my point will be clear here in a second, is like every time you're like, oh, like something like kind of good is happening to this like guy who's like really down on his luck. Boom! Additional bad thing happens. Kid dies. And he's like, okay. And then he like, oh, I got this new job. Boom! Fired from his job. That's what happens in this like first two like episodes. Like there's no good thing happening to this poor fucking girl. Like it's just continual like
And she's
battery.
trying to fight back against it. She doesn't roll over and play dead. So she goes to like the school administration and like files bullying charges against this awful group of kids. And what happens?
They berate her for causing drama
and hit her. Her fucking teacher slaps her in the face. And that's because these kids are wealthy. And then her mom is not helpful. So we see it's either in episode 1 or episode 2, Donna goes home, which is like a hotel room, like a just impoverished.
Like a motel almost.
Yeah, it's really run down. And like she's been living there apparently on her own. And then her mother comes back or something like that.
Oh, girl, it's worse because this scene is so visceral, like it stuck in my mind. So she's walking down this sad hallway. It's like raining and gross outside. Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
no.
dude, yeah. And she hears laughing, and you see her face, like the young actor that they got for this girl was like on fucking point. Her face kind of falls back and she like starts shuffling backwards, and one of the rich dudes shows up and he's like, where do you think you're going? Like the party's just starting, because he had like gone out to get more drinks. They open the door and her whole like little 1-room apartment house is trashed, and they're like eating food and joking and drinking, and they're like, oh, you're finally here. And she gets shoved into the door, and it's sad because there's this point where she like takes off her shoes before she goes into the house, because that's like a normal Korean like cultural thing. And they're like, oh my God, like even she's like taking her shoes off, like we're so, disrespectful because they all have shoes on. And it's just that like nuanced little like fuck you of like, oh.
And if it couldn't get any worse, they break out an iron. Not a curling iron, like a clothes iron.
And it's crazy too, because the actor they got for the young Jin, the like main mean girl does psychotic really well.
And even the adult actress too. Like I am terrified of this woman.
Yeah, because like there's these moments where like her eyes are like completely black and like her like lips kind of curl up in a smile. It's the most like hair raising. Oh my God.
If you've ever had a dog or seen a dog and they do the shark eyes where there's nothing going on but pure feed me.
Yeah.
That's kind of what like the look in this girl's eyes.
I think that she even describes it as shark eyes, because 100% when they like lose consciousness, but they're like doing crazy shit. That's exactly.
And so in this scene, this is more of a fade to black scene because they pull out the iron and like you hear screaming and the camera rips away. And then another memorable scene, like in these first 2 episodes, is you see her on the roof of her apartment room, and she's putting snow on her bare legs and arms.
And she's like having like a little like mental break. And it's sad too, because the second time I watched this, I didn't realize. But I think it's like right after they were like burning her legs with the iron. I didn't realize, but she like starts like pulling off her clothes to get like coolness on all of these like burns over her entire body. And if you look, it looks like she wet her pants. And it's the most like demeaning, dehumanizing like moment of like, oh, because that's like torture, like literally. And it's just like so sad to see like her pants are all wet and like you don't know if it's from the snow or from her like wetting herself. And it's like, oh.
So this is the bullying setup that our character, our heroine, goes through. And so we have really 3 main points. And like to close it all out, she tries to withdraw from school because of bullying. And basically the wealthy, what's the evil chick's name? Yunjin. Her mom bribes Danun's mom and says, sign this paper and just withdraw her from school, and nothing happened. And she does it, gets paid off, and like basically abandons her daughter.
Yeah.
And yeah.
It's so sad because Donna goes to her apartment and the lady, like the landlady, is cleaning it out, and Donna is like, what the fuck? And then she sees the like faked signature thing that her mom signed, like stuck in her like boxes of just her everything just out on the street. And she's like, my mom changed my withdrawal forms and I guess I'm not in school and I guess it's for, what did they say? It's like maladjustment or something. Like just like insult onto injury. Like, ugh. Can you talk about the nurse part? Because that one is just even,
it's even like, worse. Okay. So, it was after like an episode of bullying where she's burned again. She goes to the school nurse, and the nurse is like being sympathetic and taking care of her and trying to help her. And then you hear like a voice from the background behind a curtain, and then the curtain gets ripped aside and it's Youngjin. And you see the fear in the nurse's eyes because she has no power over this psychotic student. And
I think the bone-chilling part is, like, the nurse, before the curtain rips back, she's like, who did this to you? Like, we need to report this. This is, like, abuse. And then the curtain rips back, and Yunjin is like, I did it. And she's, like, smiling the whole time, like, what the fuck kind of? And it's so sad because Donnan comes back, like, 2 days later to get more thing, and there's a sign on the nurse's door, and it says, the nurse has, resigned from her position, see someone else if you need medical. And you just get this scene of like Don En just like not even surprised at that point. No. And that's like the literature, like where you read those sad depresso books that it's just like shit after shit after shit. And you're like, how are you like doing this?
She has nowhere else to turn. So she drops out of school and she gets odd jobs working at restaurants and cleaning. And when does she, it's while she's still like young, while she's 17, she goes back to the gym or she goes back to the school and she confronts the clique.
Oh, yeah.
Because she's like in her work attire. She's not a student anymore. And speaking of bone chilling, what she says to Young Jin is like, you are my dream or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's basically like, Dunnan has sustained herself and is recovering only for the hope of revenge against these evil people.
It's fucking, that whole line's like the way it's delivered is just
like we can't do justice to it.
No.
But so we find out that Yun Jin wants to, get married and have a child and like have this happy family life. And part of that is because we get glimpses into her like childhood, and it's not pretty either. Like she's very wealthy, but her mom is also psychotic. And so she just wants normalcy, and she wants a husband and a child and to be like a weather forecaster. And Donun's like, we'll see about that.
Yeah. Oh, because it's just that like single-minded focus, like determination, like the way she's like, is your dream, is that really what you want? And she's like, well, obviously, like that's what I'm entitled to. Like I'm rich, I'm wealthy, I'm gonna marry someone handsome and have cute kids. And she's like, great, awesome, that is your dream, you're my dream. And it's like, ooh!
And then that's it. And she turns and walks away. And then we kind of flash to Donan working in her odd jobs, and it's also very sad because it shows her moments of like weakness where she almost gives up and she like wants to kill herself. And finally she finds work at a factory and she starts going to school to work on like her GED, whatever the equivalent is in South Korea. And she's studying at night, working all day. And she has a friend at the factory, but not quite a friend because like Donan is not letting anyone close to her. But the girl like lets her sleep in the hallway.
Oh, it's so cute because she takes off her little slippers when she's like coming back from the bathroom to not wake her up. And it's like they have this scene spread over, however many years and they get older. And it's just like so cute because she like comes up to her on this random day. They're older now. And she's like, oh, I heard that you got into college. Like, congratulations. That's amazing. And like, it's your last day. And I just wanted to like introduce myself because I just think you're so cool. And like Donna is like, thank you for letting me like sleep or whatever. And she's like, what do you mean? Like, what are you talking about? And she's like, the slippers. And she's like, oh my God, you noticed. Like, I was just trying to be helpful.
They have such a cute, like almost friendship because they're not close enough to be friends, but like their bond is there. What I didn't pick up on the first time I watched the show, in the first 2 episodes, we learn that Dong-eun wants to be an architect. She admires buildings and she likes to design them. You see her sketching. But by the time she is studying for her GED and applying for college, she wants nothing more than to be a school teacher. And that is,
Yup. So I convinced my partner to watch this show by this specific story point of she wants to be a teacher. And can you tell us why she wants to be a teacher? Well, actually, we should save it. There's other things that are happening.
There are so many other like set up things that we need to get to. But yeah, so she passes, she gets into college, and she finally finds what looks like not a happy moment in her life, but like normal.
Yeah.
She's going to classes. She's obviously a little bit older than the average student. Pay attention, readers, if you watch the show. And I think the second episode, she's standing in line at a coffee shop and she is back to back with a gentleman and he appears later.
Yes. It's such a cute, because I feel like that's what K-dramas do well, is this like concept of like fated destiny. And like there's little tidbits if you're looking for it. And this is one where you're like, wait a second.
Did you notice it the first time you watched?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. On the second time, I'm like, that's him. That's our guy. And I'm
like, it's so cute.
Yeah. And then she faints.
Yeah. Because what is she? Oh, it's when she's tutoring this rich kid. And this rich kid is the biggest fucking like prick, entitled TikTok generation, worst of the worst. And he's like, oh, like, I like that shirt you're wearing. And she's like, thank you. Anyways, this math problem, like, you need to fucking focus. Like, I'm tutoring you. And he's like, it would look better if you took it off. And she's like, ain't that interesting? And then she pulls out her phone and it's a recording of their whole session. And she's talking to the kid's mom. And she's like, I hope you heard that. We'll have discussions later. You can either pay me or I'm going to the police. And then she walks out. And it's the coolest, like, she knows at this point.
Yeah, she knows how life works and she's like prepared to fight it. It's so fucking good.
But then she's like, she has her little packet of money and she's walking out and then she passes out. And you're like, can this girl not get a fucking break?
No. And then she wakes up in a hospital emergency room and she's been passed out for a while. And then there's a dude in the bed next to her and he is like beaten bloody. He is not having a good day either. And like there's a cute scene of like their hands hanging off of the bed and they're almost touching.
So cute.
And
because the music and the slow background.
It's such a good setup. And like there's something up with this dude. There's a reason he's like beaten up, but like you don't quite know why when you first watch it. And then she wakes up and she's kind of like, where the fuck am I? How did I end up here? And like the dude also sits up and she's trying to leave, I think. Like she's trying to take out her IV. And he's like, wait, I'm an intern here. Let me help you. Don't do that. And she just says, nope, I'm leaving.
I gotta go.
So she pieces out and he sticks around and we see like an interaction between him and a doctor that he apparently knows. And he gets a look at her chart and we're like, A little circle back around there.
And that also feels like not like
kosher. No. Well, especially not for what happens like immediately after. So do you want to explain that?
Yeah. So he notes on her charts that she's like iron deficient and also like malnourished. And he's like, that's not good. And then he sees her. He's like kind of like not stalking her, but like kind of looking around for her. Like maybe a little bit more so than he
sits
should.
in on one of her classes and he's not even a student. That's kind of
So I didn't realize in that scene the interaction with him and the teacher. The second time I got it, and it's like low-key really funny because the teacher is like about to start his lesson and he's like, so this man in the back that's been showing up to classes, like, why are you here? And he's like, I heard there was a very like spectacular, good-looking person in this class and I'm just very excited to learn. And he's like, well, I'm married, so if you could leave the classroom now. It's this like low-key, like jaded. It was really funny. But stalking thing back, he runs into her in this like park where old men are playing the game of Go. And he's like, oh, hey, Donna, glad I found you. Here's your medication. You need to take these for the next 6 months. Like, you're anemic. And it's like, that is not how that works.
So readers, just kind of bypass that. Don't let that be a red flag. It can't be a red flag in this show.
Yeah, if that's a red flag, like the rest is like a fucking like bowl covered.
Yep.
Yeah. So she gets medication and then he's like, oh, do you have you ever played this Go game before? And she's like, do you know how to play? And he's like, I am actually fantastic at this game. Let me tutor you. And she's like, I have never met someone that seems so like awkward but like kind of cool at the same time. And he tutors her in Go and you don't really know like why, but then you get like little hints of like this is part of her plan.
It's a master plan. If you like a cunning mastermind type character, this is Donna.
Yeah. Because I feel like we don't get a lot of moments of like female rage and like females being like brilliant and bloodthirsty, but like for a reason. And they just let her go full send.
There is no holding back on Donna's part. Like, there's no trying to make her character seem softer or more meek or nice. She is bloodthirsty, but in like a very cold, analytical, like, I'm going to follow every step of my plan and not get heated about it.
Yeah.
It's just gonna happen. So she learns Go, and she eventually graduates college, and it's like on her graduation day when she's about to take the test, and she like separates from her friend. What's his name? The doctor intern?
Oh, I don't really know.
Yajung?
Yajung? I don't know how to pronounce it. Like, they don't say his name that often.
No, we're going to call him the doctor, and he appears frequently. Thank God. So she passes her exam, and she's kind of done. Like, that's the end of their, like, friendship, relationship, her learning Go. And then this is kind of the slow roll into her grandmaster plan of kicking everything off. And we see her meeting with her former friend from the factory, who's, like, a internet wizard and is kind of teaching Dun-un about social media, and like the Facebook to Instagram transition killed me because I'm like, that's relatable. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And it's funny too because they're kind of the same age. And the younger girl, she works at like a travel agency or something. She's like, I think they're all, not really posting on Facebook anymore. They've switched to Instagram. And Don-un, immediate thing is like, I didn't think I'd have to learn another social media platform. And it's like, girl, like you sound like
that's how we all feel.
You're like 60 years old. And it's funny too because the friend, it's the same lady from the factory, she's like, I know some guys with some like gangster tattoos, like they can handle this for you. And she's like, Donna is like, can they kill for me? And the lady's like, you're trying to do what?
Yeah, it's a little bit.
It's like, that's fair.
And then we see her get an apartment in another city, and we find out that it's an apartment directly across the street from the palace that Young Jin lives in with her very handsome, wealthy husband.
She can like see into their backyard. Like you get this very ominous
like I would not want to be on the opposite end of Dunham's rage.
Yeah, absolutely not.
No. And then the way the filming works on these first 2 episodes is it kind of bounces back and forth across timelines. Like even like bounces in the present across like months and years, and then bounces back and forth into 10 years in the past. And so it's very intuitive to put together what's happening and why Dunnan is behaving and doing the things that she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's such an ominous, dark cloud of like, oh my God, what's happening next?
Because in the present timeline, you get the feeling that this is like a deck of cards right on the verge of falling, or like things are collapsing in the moment. Something really, really bad has happened. Everything continues to implode. Like, you have this like very sense of doom, like what the fuck is going on? And then you get the kind of like earlier, like a year before the present timeline, and like everything seems fine, but it's like this ominous creep of like, what's on the horizon? And it's like, yeah, a crazy bitch bent on revenge reasonably.
Well, so I think the show, like the very first scene opens up with Dunnan in her new apartment.
Oh, yeah.
And the walls are covered in pictures and news clippings and like of all of the clique members who bullied her, but specifically Yeonjin.
It's eerie. And then you get this like scene of Don-eun talking to this like dream Yeonjin, and like just fucking bloodthirsty, like, you don't even have the respect to remember who I am. And like, oh, and then she knocks her over, and then like I think she takes like a staple gun to her head or something.
Yeah,
like,
I forgot about that part. Yeah, she does.
It is wild. You're like, what am I watching?
I'm getting like tingly just.
I know.
Ugh. So we're not going to spoil too much more of the show.
Yeah.
But
you should do the ringer though, because I think it's episode 3. Like,
yeah, you find out, and because it's all building up to this one specific moment, and that's the fact that Yeonjin, married, wealthy, handsome husband, like we mentioned before, Yeonjin has a daughter,
Hazel,
and she's like about to enter kindergarten.
She's the most cute fucking little
so
adorable
cute.
Korean so cute.
And then we see Dun-eun talking to this little girl, Yeonjin's daughter, on the playground.
Mm-hmm.
And Dun-eun is her new homeroom teacher.
Yeah. The scene is so spooky though, because you get like Hazel, the little girl, she's like hanging upside down, and she's like, who are you? And then it's like she's clouded in darkness, so you don't even know. And then it like pans just slightly, and she's like, I'm your new homeroom teacher. And you're like,
well, even worse though, you see the little girl, she's like, oh, my mommy has the same shoes that you do. And you're like, oh no.
It's so like, holy fuck.
We cannot do justice to describing this show, which is why we're not going to do the whole thing, because
I have like my hair is.
I know. Like, it's so good.
Yeah.
We have said it. We have not really spoiled anything because there are so many more points to come. Like, this is like episodes 1 through 3.
Basically.
Yeah. Just start it. But what we really want to talk about is why this is such a good revenge flick.
Mm-hmm. I think like we kind of like talked about, it's such a good revenge plot because I feel like sometimes in these shows, they try to make the person seeking revenge like a little bit like hokey or going through. I'm specifically thinking of Mean Girls, which is like wild. But like her whole revenge plot feels very like immature. It feels kind of like hokey, and it feels like she's like losing herself in this plot for revenge. And like, you need to seek your better demons or whatever it's called and be like the bigger person. But I love this because it's like, no, she was wronged absolutely, like heinously by everyone in her life. Nobody helped her. She's getting what these people deserve. Like, she is absolutely going apeshit. And it's like, yep, that makes sense. And she's allowed to be like bad.
She's allowed to be vicious, which you don't get to see in a lot of heroines. Is just pure viciousness and like complete dedication to her task.
Mm-hmm. Because you get that with men all the time, but not female characters.
No. And Dun-eun is not a relatable character. She's a very sympathetic character because you see how much she suffers. But like the level that she achieves because of what she has gone through is, I hope no one ever actually experiences that. But like if you do, fully support like a revenge plot like this one. I also really liked the secondary revenge plot. So we talked about a little bit about the doctor who teaches her Go. He has his own revenge plot, but it's not as good and it's not as well thought out, partially because he hasn't suffered the way Dun-eun has. And this is not really spoiling anything, but Dunnan like basically teaches him how to do a revenge plan.
Yeah, because there's this scene where he's like, oh, I'm kind of like interested in you. Like, do you want to go get like dinner or something? And she's like, I don't need a prince in shining armor. I need a headsman. And he's like, oh, girl, got some stuff going on.
But sign me up, please.
I know, but then he's like, okay.
Okay, so our doctor, which we don't get to talk about too much because he's much more of a bigger role in the later episodes.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the fact that he is a very successful doctor.
Plastic surgeon.
He has this like very spooky house. And then we get glimpses of these very mysterious letters he's exchanging with this person that we don't know about. And these are dark, gruesome, bad letters. He's not sending them. He's receiving them.
They're from a prison.
Yeah. Can we talk about the scene where he's in his house and he pulls open a drawer and it's just filled with scalpels and knives of like increasing in size? And I'm like, there's something dark inside of me that really likes this scene. And I don't know why.
I think it's like because they're like lined up in like in order by size, and you're like, I respect, a cleanly psychopath. Like, this gives me, Dexter vibes.
Yep.
Like, I'm about it.
But like weirdly hot.
I also find the Yunjin's husband weirdly hot.
Oh, no. I was definitely rooting for...
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Because that's like a whole other plot. Like, she basically kind of like seduces him by playing Go, but being like really aloof, like black cat like. And he's like, I am so into this.
You could almost see, like the producers of the show did it really well, like seeing that it could almost have gone that way. And I love the fact that they didn't do that.
Yeah.
And two, they gave him a good ending.
Yeah. Because it shows that he's a good dad and he like doesn't want to be involved in this psychoness. But it's like, yeah, I'm glad that they didn't go that way either. But like he's got like weird, hot, rich billionaire vibes.
So back to the whole why is this a good revenge plot? There's one main revenge plot that never wavers. There's a secondary revenge plot that you really root for. But the good characters don't suffer unnecessarily unless it's like necessary to the revenge plot. The ones who aren't really involved get their good ending. There's no like sacrificial suffering.
Yeah.
Everyone who suffers for a reason.
That's true. Because you don't feel bad about the bad people suffering at all. Like it all feels very like, yep, you deserve that.
And then Dun-eun as a heroine is like, I can't think of a stronger heroine.
I can't either, because I really have not read that many books that the author has allowed the character to be bloodthirsty and like cold and not had some kind of like, oh, but this is just like a mask that I show the world and I'm actually really soft and tender on the inside and I just want someone to like save me. Because like I'm kind of thinking of Nesta from A Court of Silver thing. Like that's what Nesta should have been, but then it was like she relied on Cassian to like save her, kind of like. I don't want to get fully into that, but you don't get any characters that are just cold,
rational. You do get very well-timed bursts of emotion from Dun-eun, but it's when she's at her breaking point because her mother comes back and like, who hasn't had a breaking point with a parental figure at some point in their life?
100.
So the emotions that we do get are necessary and reasonable in the setting, but Dun-eun is just brilliant. We love her.
And she's beautiful. Like,
okay,
the actress they got for this is like stunning.
So she is very well known for another K-drama called Descendants of the Sun.
Oh.
And it's a doctor military romance kind of thing. I watched about half of it. I watched until the point where I got my romantic conclusion.
So like the 70% sex scene.
Yeah, I got like 10 episodes in. I'm like, all right, that's enough for me. But it's like a staple in like the top 10 recommended list. And she's the main the lead female in that show. Completely different character. Like I didn't really like her character in that show. Dude is amazing in that show. But
good to know.
Yeah. But I think she's also been in quite a bit.
That would make sense because she's an amazing actress.
Yeah,
like
phenomenal.
Yeah, but her haircut, like it makes me want one of those like long bobs. Like she pulls it off. And in her like fancy business like teacher outfits.
It's so good. And then if you end up liking the show and you like the dude who's in it, he's in a show called Melancholia, which you did not like.
No.
That's another problematic show for some people. But I think he's also in a new he's in a new K-drama that's getting a lot of like international attention called Exuma?
I don't know.
I can spell it, but I can't pronounce it.
That's fair.
But he plays paranormal omen type dark horror show, but he is covered in tattoos and has a man bun in it. As an actor too, like our lead dude in this show has huge range as well.
Yeah. Wow. That reminds me of one of the secondary bad guy characters in this has the man bun. He's weirdly hot. And I feel bad about thinking he's hot.
I feel like all the dudes in this show were
super attractive, but in different ways. So you get the full range. Like you're not left unsatisfied.
No,
the eye candy.
Yeah, if you just need that to keep you going through the show. And then the other female characters are all very dynamic and different as well.
Yeah, because that's, I think, one of the like low-key bangers about the show is Donun's assistant. I don't remember what her name is, but she basically blackmails Don-un into killing her husband for her because the guy is beating the shit out of her and her daughter. But you just see her like kind of like come out of her shell and she's like, wow, I've never like felt this happy before. And she has this like laughing moment and then she's like, oh, I need to be serious. But just her whole story plot, you get this like kind of like down on her luck woman, but she's like, I deserve something better. And then you see her like get her driver's license and then like get to do things and then has enough money to send her daughter abroad. Like it's so good.
That's another good point about Dun-un is that she is so hyper focused on revenge, but she never loses sight of helping the people she wants to help. She does so much for her friend, who her friend that is like the sidekick. She was the housekeeper for Young Jin and handsome wealthy husband. That's how she got caught.
Excuse me?
Oh dear.
What?
Okay. Okay, so the reason why Dun-un and this woman became friends is Dun-un has been rifling through Youngjin's like household trash trying to get information. The housekeeper noticed it and confronted her about it and like blackmails her that way.
Oh, fuck. I didn't realize it was their house.
See, there's like tidbits that you forget or you don't catch because there's so much built into these shows.
It's very like intricate. Like if you like those shows that have that, like Inception almost, or like the little tidbits where you see it on the second run through, like this 100% scratches that itch. Like it's so good.
Just watch it. Please just watch it.
It's on Netflix. You don't have to like go to any crazy site or anything. Like it's what, 12, 14 episodes?
I think it's 16.
Oh.
I mean, it's a good guess, though. Like, most of them are 12 to 16.
Yeah.
And then I'd say you could also probably watch this with a partner. Like, someone,
100%.
Yeah, if it's not, like, if they're not into the books that you read or the shows that you like, this is a good, kind of hits a niche for everyone.
Yeah. I just would not watch this if you have kids.
No. No.
Yeah, this is something you watch when, like, the kids are in bed and you're like, oh, let's watch this show together. And then you're like, it's 2:00 in the morning.
There's very graphic sex scenes, like, right in the middle. Or in the beginning. Yeah, like, I was not expecting that either.
I didn't either.
Because it's not shown a lot in K-dramas.
Not at all.
Yeah.
But it's wild, though, because you think about it and then you get the, like, the moment that becomes relevant again and you're like, what the fuck? Oh, my God. Wow. There's a lot of things you just, like, keep in your pocket and then you're like,
we can't unpack everything.
No, absolutely. There's no way. I don't have, like, mental capacity, but wow. It's so good. Just watch it.
That's the glory.
Yes. On Netflix.
From our
Netflix shelf recommended
TV? I don't know.
I don't know. From our TV to yours. That sounds sad, but
we'll see you on the next screen.
Beautiful. Hi, readers. If you'd like to help us pick our next book, send us a message on Instagram.
Or if you'd like to just listen, we post new episodes every Monday and Wednesday on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon. Thanks for listening.
Bussin'.